So I don't really love to cook as the primary cook in this family. However, what I do like is to jazz up the meals when I do cook, right? I'm looking for spices, seasonings, dry rubs, and I found a good place. It is Artisan Dry Goods made by beautiful Briny C. So a little bit of everything to spice up, jazz up your meal. It is a local store right here in Atlanta, but ready to ship out to you all over the world.
Absolutely, and they're legit. I'm gonna be honest with you here. Forbes, The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, and Oprah's magazine. And you know Oprah only gonna promote the good stuff. All right, so check them out. Instagram, beautiful Briny C. Make your kitchen better. All right, I'm talking about real good ingredients, urban gardens, local farms. So it's good for your taste buds, good for your body. Check them out, and let's get to the episode. What's going on, good people? Welcome back to another episode of Sum It Up with the Summoners. It's your boy Damon and
Katoya.
You know what it is. The Summoners in the building. Another hot one here today. Can you change your spouse? That's what we're talking about today. But before we dive into it, as always, you know what it is. Thank y'all so much for rocking with us out here. Facebook group, Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We got the videos, full episodes over there. And of course, Patreon. Patrons, appreciate y'all. We just dropped a bonus episode last week, so if you want to get that exclusive content that's only on Patreon, hit that up. And you can also reach out to us online. Some people tell me, hey Damon, I'm not on social media. Sum it up with the Summoners. Actually, excuse me, sum it up Summoners at gmail.com. Sum it up Summoners at gmail.com, and we can help you get anything you need. But before we go on, we got a review this week. Katoya, what we got?
All right, so the review this week comes from Shonic G.
Shonic.
And it is titled The Best, 5 stars, as always. And it says super helpful advice and hilarious banter from a couple that cares about each other and their listeners. Easy listening and a ton of great and practical content. I think I kind of read that as I was embodying this person. I kind of know them, so I thought, you know, like that. Anyway, no, thanks so much for that. We appreciate it. It fuels the fire, right? Reviews are like, hey, we're listening, we hear you, we appreciate it. As I always say, there's a lot of one way here, but when you give us some feedback, when you talk back, when you become a patron, when you like, share, comment, and all of that, that lets us know that you're rocking with us. Yeah. So thank y'all so much for the reviews. How are we looking on that? Hit 100.
We are, I think we're about 5 away.
Oh.
I think we're about 5 away,
Oh, come on.
Yeah,
come on
now.
I done had to write one review myself for myself. I guess I got to read that. I think it came from Katoya. Come on.
You ain't changed your name?
No, I was honest.
Listen, before you say,
wait. This is a biased review from me.
Before somebody says, hey, you can do that, you know presidents also vote in the election.
Listen, vote for yourself. No, just
vote for yourself.
You could have been one vote away.
Vote for yourself.
Nah.
Oh, man. But appreciate y'all, man. Take a few seconds, hit us up, and we'd love to hear that review. But otherwise, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Can you change
your spouse?
Your
significant other, your SO, your boo, your bae, whoever it is.
The first question is, how many times have you wanted to change?
That's a valid question. Are you counting on one hand, 2 hands?
You just done gave up.
Are you no longer counting? Are you in double digits? How much change has been needed?
Change. I mean, that word is just so loaded and heavy because it's inevitable, right? And I think the thing about not only just trying to change your spouse is that your spouse is just going to change on their own. Your person is going to change. We've said it over and over. I'm not the same Katoya from 18 to 34. I'm not. I'm glad. Like, I shouldn't be.
Come on.
And so the thing about it is, like, even being in our relationship for going on 16 years, going on 16 years, it's like, well, yeah, like, we're changing. We're going to change, but we get to grow together, hopefully. Yeah. But you don't always arrive at the same points collectively, so you're like, come on, or no, or I'm not interested no more, you know? And so it's hard because change is going to happen. And it's going to not always happen at the same time. Your interests will be divided. So what do we do?
Yeah. I think before we dive deep into it here, I think change, that word is important to really just process through.
Yeah.
Like change not only is it going to happen, but change can be good. Like change can be good. It's not necessarily always good, right? But change can be good. And so even as we get into this topic here, because I know I've talked with a few husbands about change, either A, them wanting to change their lovely wife, or B, them feeling pressure to change. And even the generalization, I don't know if you've heard this often, but I definitely, especially in the comedy world, kind of hear this premise, this bit about, finding a rescue guy and changing him. Ladies, we naturally like to, find a little project to change a man, and, we upgraded him, and, this, that, and the other, and this level of, this is generalizations, of course, here, but of this guy doing more of the change, or the woman desiring more of the change, is not necessarily true. That's why generalizations are so bittersweet.
Yeah, but women do upgrade a lot of men. And a lot of men need a lot of women in their life to upgrade them.
I'm 100% going to agree with those two sentences.
Yeah, you be like, this don't look good? No, that doesn't look good. I accepted you with knowing I was going to change that about you.
Yes, I'm not going to disagree with that statement. And of course, vice versa. But I'm definitely not going to disagree with that statement. I'm just saying change is good. I'm also just saying that the generalization statements, wherever you're listening to this, however you guys are rocking with that, understand there's two sides of the coin. Yeah. But there's a lot of validity in that as well.
I do. Sure. I think we all upgrade. I think each person should be upgrading another person in different ways, 100%. However, I do think that, we were talking about it, like what constitutes as a big change, a small change, and things like that. And it was kind of hard because honestly, a lot of this depends on the hold that it has on someone else.
Let's dive right in.
Yeah.
Let's get into it. There's change
levels
happens. To changes.
I'd actually like to brag on myself for a second.
Brag on real quick.
Based on a horoscope. I don't know if you can really brag based on a horoscope, but I am a Gemini, and it's funny. I was watching, I was reading a description or something. It was around my birthday, so I was like, oh, let me see what they talk about. And it was just like, you are so good at change. Of course, he said it better than that.
Sure.
But it was you adapt to change well. And I just have been riding that wave. Because I do believe that is true about me. I get ruffled and then I'm like, all right, change happened, move on, let's go.
Sure.
So I can move, it's that shaker in me, right? Okay. What can I look at the situation, I assess it, can I do anything about it? If I can't, then this is just a change. Let's just roll. So, but I just want to shout out myself for being more flexible to change. I am often around some people who are not as flexible.
Rigid.
And it makes me realize that I am possible for change. And I'm like, this is actually not that big of a deal. But because things typically aren't that big of a deal, then that's why the change can be more free flowing. I just think, I don't know, I'm thinking about that as I'm talking about being accessible to change. Now, change has to be willing. You can't force change in a relationship.
You're not forcing change.
Yeah, that's when the tension happens. If the person don't want to do it, then it's going to be difficult. But if they're willing or have a lighter hold on
just an open ear and an open heart to the conversation.
Yeah, then it's more accessible. It's possible, right? Yeah.
Right that way. I'm glad you wrote that way here. They probably didn't say much about the moon fell and the crescents of your stars dictate how you flow with the inevitable change of your moonlight's moon.
And I was like, yeah, I like it. That sounds pretty good. That sounds about like me. Any of those things, I'm always like, yeah, that's me. They're like, what's this? Oh, yeah, that one's me.
That worked.
IJFKL. Yeah, that's probably
me right there.
I've never taken that test.
I like that.
But if you told me the letters, I'd be like, I don't even take this test. At some point, you've taken enough of this stuff to understand who you are. And if you don't know by now, do a little bit more research and figure it out.
One more test, and that's it. Take all your tests by 35.
Anyway.
Tiers. There's brackets. There's different levels. And again, you brought up a good caveat that depending on what a person holds more valuable, right, then it kind of will fluctuate a little bit here. Because if somebody really cares more about this and then not, it's whatever it can be. But there is, I think, degrees of things that people are going to want to try to have their quote unquote SO change, and they might be willing to it, and then something sure is not like for ourselves, and we've said it before on the show, just dietary habits, I think for both of us, we both grew up not eating the best. I think we both came in we both were at a spot where we kind of met roughly close, we can't eat the smothered 4 days a week.
Yeah.
Church's chicken every Sunday. Not every Sunday, fam.
Yeah, no, we didn't have the best eating habits. And then
So that conversation was just a little more like, all right. I mean, you know.
right. Well, it was exposure too, and I think that's something
good.
that happens, you know, in marriages or relationships. Like, you know, when you start out and you're like, your exposure to different cultures, to the variety of people, and can be good and bad, right? The more you exposed to, and depending on how
it kind of navigates you and hits you,
accessible or like like I'm a good listener, but I don't let everything like take root, right? So I can listen to all of these theories and philosophies, but I have to know my own thing.
You got your own anchor,
right? But if you don't really have an anchor, then you can kind of take any of that and then just become
just a little like a ball,
a
just
little
a ball
rock,
of paper,
a little sedimentary rock.
Just whoo.
You know, my daughter, she's been teaching me, but
in
like
the wind,
all of the rocks come together to form a little rock.
You just in the dust.
But then you can crack that rock
with a drop of oil.
Anyway, so something like that is what I'm trying to say. But when people get exposed to so much, then that allows for a larger worldview, which can be good and bad. Like I said, it depends on how you take it. But if your partner is not experiencing that, then they just kind of stuck in like South Dallas or whatever worldview they have, but you're getting more and more exposure because of work, because of your friend group, because of what you're watching, and you don't grow in that together, then they're going to expect for you to rise up to their change, but you have no worldview for it. And that's where I think the off balance in some ways can happen. Oh, I'm watching more of this. I like the way he look. I want you to look like that. Like that just gets scary and tough, but it is a possibility of how we see this like growth versus change dynamic amongst partners.
Growth versus change dynamic. That's an interesting thing to unpack.
And who says your growth is great, but it's still your own awareness, right?
Sure. There's tiers. I mean,
there are tiers.
In change and growth, they're similar but also different. I feel like, growth can be, more individualistic. Change sometimes can have more outside factors. Right? Sometimes you can have more things that either, your bay or just life itself and demands where you have to change because you've always worked jobs that, you're a second shift. And now you got to change and now you up at 7 a.m. That could be hard for some people. Some people are like, oh man, I don't get up to 9:30. It's like, fam, I got to be up at 6 in traffic. Like, that would be type of change.
A big one is like this whole push for entrepreneurship now. Ooh. It's like, I got an 8 to 5. People go, you got an 8 to 5? Mm-hmm. Yeah. But somebody's like, well, I'm trying to be an entrepreneur now, and you're just working this regular job. Like, that's an attack.
We all trying to pay bills.
Yeah, but because you've arrived at being an entrepreneur, and now you're looking at this like, but can you arrive with me? Like, you just gotta learn to let people arrive as they will. And that's hard in a relationship because I think I've always viewed a relationship sometimes the way I view like my best friend. Like we should be doing the same things. Like a odd, unhealthy twin thing, right? Like just
odd and unhealthy. Just
we do it all
you
together.
Feel my pain, I feel your pain.
If I'm happy about this, you're happy about this. If I don't eat this, you don't eat this. And like that's just not. We're still two individual people.
We are two individual.
So there are tiers to it, and I think there's an appropriate lens to view expectations that you desire to start changing. Yeah. Now we got superficial. We got some of the tiers.
Like that cosmetics. So I thought one of the ones we disagreed on before the show was style. Now, of course, she gave the caveat, but let's just take the caveat out. I put style as a big thing. Like, let's say you got two people who like what they're doing. And somebody's like, yo, I don't like what you're doing with your style.
Sorry.
That is going to end up being a big thing. You had that kind of on the lower tier. And I think because for ourselves personally, I'm going to speak for myself, like, since we've never really kind of had somebody say, yo, change your style, like holistic, top to bottom, go through your closet. We finna drop a band. We finna get you a whole new closet, right? Like that will come off, in my opinion, and off top. If we're like, wait a minute.
I mean, I think we've gone through. We definitely had this big transition from like when we first moved here, from like zoo picture to transition. Like that was a
that was a style change.
No, but it was weight. But when But when the weight was dropping, the style changed as well. It was like a
I've never felt,
but I wasn't like.
I've never came at you and be like, yo, you need to do something with your style, top to bottom.
No.
And I've never if I've never felt anything highly coming from you about what I wanted to wear. You may have said some things, I may have said some things, sure. I'm talking about change, but they're like, hey babe, I don't like the fact that you always wear chokers. Okay, that's good to know. Hey babe, we gotta let these Doc Martens go. Hey, we need to let go bootcut jeans. Those are some things that some people really like because they're comfortable, right? I'm not a tall T dude, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, if somebody was gonna come at you a certain way, hey babe, now really loving, or hair, right? Hair is a little more intimate. Victoria has rocked several hairstyles over our 16 years together. Several hairstyles, right? Got the new one here. Look cute right here, bang, bang, on the side with a little black.
Several hairstyles in the same week.
I've had three. Actually, I had two. When we got together, I lost one because I had braids.
I didn't know.
And I cut the braids. We weren't together. So I've only had a fade, or I've had a concoction of natural hair as a black man. So those are really just the two, right?
Yeah, no, I just think it depends on how tight it is. But I think at the end of the day, style and appearance is important because that's what your spouse is attracted to, or your person. So I think that's what matters. I do think that there's an element of that should be considered.
For sure.
However, you do need to be mindful on how you're trying to tell somebody about the way they look, because that can come off a whole nother way wrong. But I do think that, we should do things for us. We should also do things that are going to be attractive to our partners.
And I think the why is also important. But before we get to the why, all right, talk about that, we're going to take a quick sponsor break. What's going on, good people? Before we get back to our episode, we want to shout out one of our sponsors, Unbox Boredom. That's right. Unbox Boredom is a fun subscription board game service that delivers board games directly to your door for you to keep.
Yeah, and it's for all type of gamers, right? So, and bringing us back to the classic, unplugging from the screens, and good old board games, right? And from many different options, from strategy to family and even party games. And unlike many subscriptions, Unbox Boredom allows you to change your subscription. You can go from monthly to bi-monthly and even quarterly. And for every 10 subscriptions, Unbox Boredom will donate one to a family who can't afford one.
Absolutely. And we got a special promo code right now that can give you free shipping on your first box, and it's called Sum It Up. That's right. Sum It Up will get you free shipping on your first box. So check them out online. You can check them out at unboxboredom.com, or also you can check them out on Instagram, unboxboredom.
Virtual wine tastings? Sign us up. And we did with Couch and Cork, and it was such a good time. We got the wine. They did the rest. We had our friends, and we're still talking about this time many days later.
Absolutely. It's a highly personalized, fun, full service, inclusive experience. It's not just for the ladies, fellas. I'm talking about it's for everybody, your friends, your family, your colleagues, whoever. On top of that, we got a special promo code right now, Sumnus15. Not just for 10, but for 15% off. That's right, Sumnus15. 15% off. Check them out on the gram, Couch and Cork, or couchandcork.com for an in-home wine tasting experience. You won't regret it. All right, we back. So why? I think the why, you brought that up right before we went to break. The why is crucial. You know, there's a bunch of other things we could bring up in a second as well. But the why you want to change as well. Because you brought it, it's like, I've been watching these more shows. Or maybe I'm in a new job where I'm watching these men and these women, they got a different style. And now I want to come and emulate what I've seen and now put that on you. Guy, gal, whomever the case may be. And that, in my opinion, is a slippery slope. It's a slippery slope. I remember one time, and I think it was, you said it once. I didn't think nothing about it, but I remember it. We were just started dating. We probably 6 months into it or less. It's high school, so we young, we cute, whatever the case may be. And I remember you was like, you ever thought about getting an earring? And I was like, nah, I never thought about getting an earring. And you was like, I think you might look good with an earring. And I was like, oh, appreciate that. And we just kind of left it at that. And I say that because a lot of, right now, a lot of things that are hot right now, a lot of guys got earrings, specifically ones that dangle and see the little cross. I don't know if you've seen that one. That's kind of a hot thing right now.
Very hot thing.
It's a very hot thing, right? But your boo come into the house, been seeing this, and I'm like, hey, man, you know what? Let's go to the mall this weekend. Let's go wherever we go, and let's get us an earring. He's like, I just like to wear Marvel t-shirts. I just like.
I mean, you have to do something within reason. Somebody just walking around.
I'm just saying, like, it's that type of stuff that we try to emulate and put on our
true,
SO,
but
and it's a slippery slope.
If they're not interested, it's not gonna go well.
It's not gonna go well if they're definitely not interested. Like if that ear ain't open, if their heart ain't open to receiving some of that.
If you already know they're not that type of person.
But what if they was like, hey, what if we get the Thor hammer? What if we get the Thor hammer hang? Since you like Marvel, we get a little Thor hammer.
Thor hammer.
He likes Marvel. Like get a little Thor hammer, just a little hang.
That ain't cute. Stop. You can't change people to be somebody you want them to be. Woo. You just can't. They just have to want to be that person on their own.
We also.
It just be like me trying to transform Damon to being like just somebody he is not. That's just not it.
We both talk about that laundry list we had before we started dating. Katoya was. Most of the things that I love about her was not on the laundry list. So if I tried to change her over time back to my laundry list, one, I'm gonna be doing a disservice to myself because she's better than that list. But two, like that's just not. Those things are small and futile. Like just they're not important to a degree, right? The things that matter, the things that I think we were agreeing on, things that do matter, like those personality, character traits, those things when we talk about that type of change, now we're really getting into some things that are important for both of us, that are important for us for this relationship to be healthy, or important for your or my well-being holistically. Those are the things that we really got to have some hard, well-timed out conversations. Right?
Yeah. I just thought about when your spouse just started doing their own changes. I was like, wait, what?
Oh.
Who are you now?
That's true too.
Like that's
that's true too.
Like maybe they didn't even own you trying to change them. They just started changing.
You know what? Like, I'm just changing me.
Oh, you don't like? Oh, we're doing. Oh.
Okay. Oh, so you gonna wear Marvel tees too? Okay. So we just the Marvel crew. All right.
But that's just because change happens. You got to roll with it because at the end of the day.
At the end of the day.
What really matters is who the person is, right? Those I think exterior things are small. I do think they're important because they could be something that could like cause more or less attraction. And I mean, we got to still have that in order to make our relationships work. If you're not attracted, it's going to be more complicated. However, I'm probably not attractive at 11 p.m. at night, right? Like, it's just naturally not going to be the case. So we don't have to, like, you're not going to always be attracted or you're not going to look good or look all, we know that. We're in a relationship. It's not butterflies and cupcakes or whatever all the time. But you do want to make sure that, like, you're keeping that, like, attraction and that things and stuff look good. For sure. That's all great. Boom. So those are small to me, personally. And that's a lot of stuff that can be overlooked. But the bigger thing, because what matters is what's going on the inside, right? And so
that character.
Yeah, the character problems, like the way someone manages their money. Like, where your money going? I've heard this from 2 different relationships in the past week. I don't know where their money going.
Oh, they married
they are married. You got this money, and I don't know where your money going.
So they keep their money separate, to be clear.
Yes.
I mean,
but they're supposed to be collectively paying for things that are not being done. And then you come up and like, I paid all this, so where your money going? And so then you're like, well, I just don't understand what they're doing with their money. They need to change their money. We need to do this, we need to do this. And it's just like, whoa, this is big. That's a change that does need to happen. Yes. But that person is not ready to like be responsible or accountable for that money or whatever. Maybe they're blowing it off. Maybe they're investing on this. Maybe they're doing who knows. But it's not accounted for. And you don't like the way this person is managing the money, their money, which is also probably why it is managed separately to begin with. And so that is something that needs to change. However, you can't force that person for this change. So you've got the how. That's what the how is crucial. Yeah. The how's got to be crucial. So we've talked about communication. It's so crucial here on the podcast. We're not going to get too much into it, but, right time, how you go about it, how you deliver it. Those things are going to be important for those. And anything else on this thing. Another one that comes to mind is, like anger, like emotions. I don't really know how to kind of put a framework on it, but like specifically... like a lot of people have anger issues from trauma, from whatever else, nature, nurture, who knows what. But like that is something. If we're talking about healthy relationships, safe places that you want to come and lay your head beside somebody. Like that's important. That's a change that needs to happen and happen swiftly, in my opinion. Nobody wants to be in a place where somebody's constantly getting angry over big or small things. So that is something that would tie into that as well. Being able to have healthy conflict. We're pro good conflict on the show. Let that be clear.
And I think for us, one thing that just came to mind is that, in regards to conflict was like, because we came from two different worlds, if you know the show. On one end, right, where we both kind of changed and grew, I think this one kind of maybe ties more closer to your growing, is like Katoya kind of, over time has evolved and grown a little bit with kind of her coming from a more verbal family, right, and from tone to volume, a variety of things, and me coming from a really transparent, not really sharing feelings, not really kind of opening up. And so both levels of growth and change, because why? The other person expressed why this was important, why it mattered to them, why it's important for us. And it wasn't necessarily the easiest thing for sure, but over the time we've been able to get to a much better spot.
And I think that's another thing too, is that it's just like we talk about losing weight or whatever, and you're like, it didn't take you. It took you years to get here. It's not going to take you like 2 months to lose it. It's
quick.
It just isn't. And the same thing goes with seeing steps to the change. It's like it might be baby steps, and you want leaps, but you have to appreciate the baby steps and acknowledge them and encourage them.
Baby
because
steps.
If not, then it's just going to feel like a loss, because you're asking somebody to do something that's new, different, not naturally within them, depending on what it might be. And honestly, it takes to your partner to say, I'm doing this because I see that it's important to you, and I think it could work for me, and I can do it. Like, it has to be like this willingness.
Yeah, it's got to be the willingness. And
for sure, for any of the changes, honestly.
For any of the changes, for sure.
But, some things like we talked about not too long ago, is like, they're ongoing. Like, this is a revolving door. Like, some changes that you want to see might not happen immediately, but they, you're going to have to come back and revisit and check in and be like, so where are we here? Where are we here? If this is a change that y'all are both agreeing to, if that's something that they're willing to do.
Yeah, it's, that revolving door. There's some things that is going to be a longer journey than others. Some things like, all right, we're throwing away cargo shorts this summer. Big. Like, that's not a big I got it. No problem.
Let's go buy you a couple shorts.
Got it.
We're good.
But pointing fingers and being upset and hanging up on the phone, that may be in them for the last 15, 20 years. And they got to get that up out their system. Yeah. You want him or her to share their feelings, just immediately look more like you, and that's not necessarily how they've been since they've been 15. And so now you got to work through that mud. And when they share, what I'm saying, give them don't overdo it. Don't condescend, but give them a big up. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I really appreciate the way you did that. I noticed that. And that meant a lot to me.
I mean, look at you with a collar on. Look at you out here. You put the cute wedges on. Okay, I like that. Small steps.
It is. Now, so that was kind of like small to big. And there's a gray area of medium.
Gray area of medium?
Yeah. It's like, who you hanging around with? What you doing?
Ah, yes.
I wanted to see you get into some hobbies, some
activities.
Interests. Go do, like, those are changes that we also can want to see. Like, or what kind of habits you got. Like, this is a big one, like drinking or smoking. I don't like that no more. You've been doing that a lot.
Okay.
Like, those can be big. I think that every problem just depends on the severity, the stress of, like, how someone wants it or doesn't want it. Like, if I really don't want you to do this anymore. Or, I really love doing this. Like, so, like, it just depends on the pull for the person, I think. Yeah. But these are all things that we see and hear about from our friends or from whoever, that are things that, your partner wants to see change.
Partner wants to see change. If Katoya loves fantasy, vampires, and if she was like, yo, Damon, I got caught up with this vampire crew every Friday night, we going out dressed like vampires, and we walking around cemeteries. I gotta step back. This is the gray area because she's got new friends. Ooh. This is a new activity.
And you gonna do what?
And I gotta think. About what's happening here. You're like 1, 2. I'm like, whoa! Don't talk.
You went to the count?
No.
I was thinking more like,
whatever. Is he a vampire? He's a vampire.
Yes.
He's just a cute vampire.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying, I have to process there. Are y'all being safe? What's going on here? What are we doing?
Some ritual.
She come in and just all white face, and I'm just like, what? Got fake fangs. I gotta process. That's gray area. She's having fun and she being safe. She got new friends.
Ooh, do I stop this? How far do we go?
Okay.
What is this question?
She got a cape from Amazon. Oh my goodness, it's a lot. But she working on magic tricks, how to turn into a bat. It's a whole situation. I'm just saying, guys. You gotta think about these type of changes.
No, but I do think that's true. I mean, that is super strange for us, but it would be like,
People strange.
well,
People strange.
let's see how it goes. I'm not a part of the clique, so I'm gonna be out the loop.
Out the loop. Out the loop.
Is it safe? You're having a good time.
Okay. Alright. Like if I just got into skateboarding. Like if I just got into skate, if I had 3 skateboards behind us right now on our wall, I got all my Vans, I got my shoes.
I'd be so intrigued. Sure, Damon likes skating now. We're finna go watch him at his show, skateboard show. Is that what they have? I don't even know.
Skateboard show.
Skate park event. I don't even know what it's called. That's very funny. I was supported though, like it's his interest.
She
right?
was supported until I got hurt one time on this recreation
That is
activity.
very true.
Oh.
Getting hurt is a no-no. I fell off my bike, got hurt, and I ain't never been the same. I held the rule for myself. Did I get hurt?
As an adult for this recreational free activity?
Oh no! I got people to live for. That's literally what I say on the bike ride, y'all. I got people to go home to. I don't know what y'all doing out here, but I gotta be safe.
Oh boy.
Anyway, but no, I mean, I think there should be some freedom and some flexibility.
Gotta be some freedom.
And as always, none of this is possible without communication of how one person is feeling and how the other person's feeling, and working together to get on the same page. Change and asking for that change is not unacceptable in a relationship. I do think if there is something that you want to express for the health and benefit and wellness of your relationship, then you should express it.
Absolutely.
It might not always be great. You know, I've had to say things to Damon where I'm just like, this is not going to sound good, but I just got to tell you this. You know, like, it's because this is going to be beneficial for us in the long run, and I need to say it. So I think that if you don't have that type of honesty and open line communication, and that's the first line of work. You can't ask somebody to change if you can't even dare ask them to change.
No.
Like, you got to be able to talk about it.
You got to, because it's only going to lead to bitterness and frustration, especially if it's unsaid. If it's unsaid. If I just let her go be a vampire for 4 months and I don't say anything about it, that's on me. I gotta bring that up. People are doing that somewhere around this state today. I'm just saying, you got to bring it up. Do not let that fester.
Then I think about
unsaid.
TV shows I've seen. Then they be a part of cult and hunger, end up dying. This dangerous out here.
Now we got to have a closed casket because she died as a vampire and we can't watch that off. It's a whole situation. What I'm saying is, please know that you should feel safe to speak up. Should be a safe space. On both ways, for sure. And if somebody's trying to bring some strong change to you, make sure that you articulate why you enjoy it. Maybe they didn't know how strongly you felt or what it does for you. Like, listen, these are some of the best people I hang out with, or they've really helped me stay in shape, or it's good for my whatever it is. Sometimes you just got to also articulate the reasoning why. They may not just know, that whatever the case may be. So
that's true.
That's the thing right there.
Well, it's a lot of stuff there.
Change. Can you change your spouse?
Can you change spouse? It shouldn't be your first goal. Can you communicate changes that you would like to see to your spouse? Absolutely.
Is it leading to growth?
Is it leading to growth? Is it leading to the value in this relationship? If it don't hurt or not, then you should probably just let them be themselves. Yeah.
And some things won't happen. Like, I'm not going to eat Brussels sprouts. She's tried to ask me 7 times to eat Brussels sprouts. I'm not going to do them. They're disgusting. They're like dirt.
Delicious.
They're terrible.
They are like one of my favorite vegetables. Like, let's go get Brussels sprouts.
That's what she says to me. I'm just like,
actually, ramen's really delicious.
I'm not going to do it. I tell in her face, I'm not going to do it. And we got to get out of here. I'm hungry.
Lame.
Hilarious. Listen, team, this has been good. Can you change your spouse? Hope you guys have a good conversation. That's always at the end of the day what we want with these. Good dialogue.
Chat.
You know what I'm saying? That's all we want. Chat it up with the crew. Check us out on everything and anything. If you ain't on social media, hit us up. You got any questions? Summing up at gmail.com. Damon Couture. We'll see you next time.